Social Darwinism, noun. It's founded by Charles Darwin, the theory that some people are better than others and you are born with the good or bad traits. In the socially elite classes, they possess wealth and more power. It is accounted by the theory of natural selection and that only organisms with the best traits will survive. I believe social Darwinism applies to humans because there are superior animals as well as humans. The animals with better, more useful traits survive, and humans who may be more attractive or have more money or are smart are more likely to reproduce. Social Darwinism does apply to humans because the richer live with more ease than the poor does, with products being more expensive. Therefore, the animals and humans with the less fortunate traits eventually die off and don't reproduce. Basically, only the smartest and richest survive. People then related Charles Darwin's theory to the social classes. Racism is also a form of social Darwinism because some races thought they were more dominant or better than others. For example, white people assumed that they were better than the black and all the other races because they had the highest success rate. During the last election against Governor Mitt Romney and current President Barack Obama, President Obama accused Mitt Romney of being a social Darwinist because Mitt Romney wanted to cut funds for Medicare. We used to have a stronger and healthier working class. Now, President Obama is using our taxes to help fund medical bills for the people who can't afford it. We are making a transition from social Darwinism to less social Darwinism because we are helping those who can't afford the expenses. It originated from the idea of natural selection founded by Charles Darwin. He is a British scientist who laid the foundation for the theory of evolution. He transformed the way we think about the natural world. He observed that the plants and animals that best suited and adapted to the environment had the most useful traits were most likely to survive, and gradually species evolved and changed over time. The resources from their environment are not equivalent. Creatures overproduce offspring even though not all will survive. There is competition to survive because of the limited amount of sources. Every animal is different, never exactly the same. In the genetically transferred traits, some are helpful in survival situations and some are not. The organisms with the useful traits will reproduce and their offspring will inherit the same traits. Because the organisms with the less useful traits will eventually die off, it is basically the game of the fittest. At different times, nature selects different traits. When two different species produce offspring, then a new species is created.
Yes, we think that the theory applies to people because if you're at the top, like the upper class, you're gonna be rich. Like if you're a white butterfly and you're in a forest with brown trees and brown butterflies, you're a meal for birds because you stand out. Just like if you're not at the upper class and you drop down to the lower class, and it will be hard for you to make it back to the upper class. The connection is that like hard for white butterflies to blend in with brown butterflies and brown trees. Like people, it's hard for some lower class people to have the same abilities as the higher class people.